Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. How are you all? Hope so you are all doing good. This is your host Osama Khan and with me is my co-host Usman Baig. Today we would like to talk about a very serious but unfortunately the most ignored issue in our society. This is drug abuse. So Assalamu alaikum Usman. How are you doing?
Walaikum assalam, Usama. I am doing good. What about you, Usama?
Very well. So, as I was talking about drug abuse and the problems which are we as a society facing from it, what are your perspective about this ignored but important social issue?
Yes, it's a very important and the most unhighlighted issue. It should be given some importance as it affects the youth of our society. And youth is the backbone of every developed and underdeveloped country. The actual point is youth here.
Yes, youth is the most important component of the society. It should not be spoiled or distracted. Drug abuse begins from youth and proceed to offsprings.
You know, every society nowadays. The use of legal drugs and life saving drugs have been compulsory for us as they are for medical use, but people misuse it and make them somehow illegal.
Yeah, that's a very real point you are stating. But I am aware of the core cause by which youth and other peoples are attracted and induced toward drugs. Do you have any idea about that?
Yeah, I have the idea why this is so emerging in our society. Actually, the era we are living in is very digital and modernized, as well as socialism is on peak nowadays, which give birth to anxiety and different problems like depression, overthinking, family and society pressure, etc. People take drugs use as an escape from reality, which is totally a wrong assumption and foolish thought that consuming drugs and being not in sense will give them a relief and will empower them to face difficulties, whereas people are unaware that actually difficulties start from this point and start getting more worst. Awareness is important, but at a certain point it becomes useless. When an addict has crossed all the boundaries of coming back to a normal life, words and lectures don't affect him at all. At that stage, only implementation and treatments can bring him or her back to life.
Yeah, you are right. What to a drug addict and what is the maximum loss?
Yeah, Sama, while talking about the loss you face due to drug addiction, I think the minimum loss drug addict has to afford is being covered and being away from his family and loved ones. It's very important to be with your family and loved ones. So that's the minimum loss drug addict has to face. And talking about the maximum loss, that is countless. But the most important ones are bad health, shortage of money, being abusive to family and other people. Drug addiction is a very vast topic to discuss about because it has already created thousands of problems in global society and it is making society even more worse day by day.
So, Usman, we received some parental and most common questions about drugs. We have looked into it. So, I asked some questions from you. You just have to answer it randomly according to your opinion.
Yeah, sure. Go for it. I will try my best to answer these questions. According to research and surveys,
Okay, so first one is why do only some people get addicted to drugs?
I think it depends on the environment and genetic risk for addiction. Having friends who abuse drugs or alcohol, peer pressure is a powerful environment factor for using drugs and becoming addicted to them.
Yeah, I think you give the best answer to this question. So now we move to our next question, which is are prescription drugs safe?
Yeah, Osama, as I talked before, that use of legal drugs and the drugs that are life saving for us is compulsory nowadays, because diseases are so advanced, so drugs are important. But in my point of view, taking drugs is never safe. Even prescription drugs may have side effects or be harmful if not taken properly. And with elect drugs, you have no idea what is actually in them or how strong they are.
Okay, so while talking about drugs, many time a question arises in my mind: can I addicted to drugs if I just tried it for once, or is it somehow an adventure to do drugs?
Probably no, you don't get addicted to drugs if you just do it for once. But obviously, it's not a good factor to even try it, because many of the people around the globe get addicted to drugs when they do drugs just for trying it for adventure purpose. It gives them escape from reality, which is not true, but according to those people, it gives them escape from the reality when they are high on drugs.
Very well. Okay, Usman. One more last question. What possible measure could be taken to stop youth from getting a one-time player from drugs and getting addicted to it? What you're thinking about it?
Yeah, talking about solutions and warning for people who are getting it attracted towards is very important. As we talked before, it begins as a player or a misuse of legal or life-saving drugs. So I think pharmaceutical companies should impose every pharmacy to give these drugs with proper authentication, while youth should be given awareness to be away from this deadly disease and should not take it as a joy and layer to escape from the problems and reality. Whereas it actually make them coward, and they will not don't get to know how to face the problems and real life. Life is really a bumpy road, and you have to face the difficulties and you have to go through everything. So a drug is never an option to escape from it. So I think the youth should get aware that every problem has a solution. If they have any problem in their life, they should be strong enough to face it, not just use a drug and be addicted to it and destroy their health as well. So I would like to appeal our government officials and everyone around us to take it as a national responsibility. Being a well established society, we should pay some attention to this issue and make some steps to stop this, and a youth should not emerge.
Yeah, you said very well, Usman. It demolished countless societies, and many of them are surviving from this issue. Youth should be always kept away from drug abuse because youth is surely the main asset of developed or underdeveloped countries. I hope this podcast of our may help the addicts and other peoples who are getting affected just because of their loved ones and are now an addict. So thank you so much, Usman, for joining me in this podcast and spreading awareness to all the people around the globe.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
I would like to thanks the audience for listening us, and I hope you will keep getting knowledge from these type of podcasts. See you next time. Allah Hafiz.